One of the reasons that I got quite political is because I saw some of the good things that the system could be doing, and that was seen through, again, my family being reliant on things like working for families, but also public housing at one point. But I equally saw how the system can push people away. I'm not here to represent every young people, but I can do my part in speaking to what a lot of young people have to say.
Oh, kia ora whānau. Welcome back to another podcast. I have a really cool guest here. Let's find out who is it. Ethan, how are you?
I'm good, kia ora. I'm good. How are you, Kodrian?
I'm good, thank you. Ethan, it's been lovely to meet you at the gala. How was the gala?
It was great. There's so much energy in the room, and really lovely to see the diverse communities coming together to talk about the great work you guys are doing. So thank you for having me.
Great. No, it was a pleasure. And what is cool after that is this connection that happened. And then I figure out you're a young person and you have a lot of things you have already accomplished. So it's a pleasure to have you today in this podcast. So let's talk through this before we go a deep dive into what you do and everything. If we give you the mic to introduce yourself, how would you love to introduce yourself?
Yeah, cool. Well, kia ora, my name's Ethan. I'm 21 years old. I live here in Te Whanganui, Aotearoa, Wellington. I am just about to finish my degree in a Bachelor's of Psychology. But before then, I was very fortunate enough to run as the youngest candidate in the 2023 election. Since then, I've been very fortunate to work for a few Labour MPs, including the Labour leader Chris Hipkins, and I am now working for general practitioners right across the country, advocating for them to ensure that we have a more equitable health system.
Right. So I see you're involved a lot in the politics.
Yes, yeah,
so
just a little bit.
A little bit, okay. So what's the story there? Like, what made you passion to start joining this political party?
Yeah, I think it's a very topical question because I think more and more recently we're seeing a lot of young people be engaged and driven into politics.
Yeah.
I joined the Labour Party when I was 14 years old, which was quite unconventional and probably questioned a lot of people. But for me, my family wasn't always political, but we had political roots. So my grandmother is a health unionist, and she really led a lot of the pay equity movement that we have recently seen be repealed. So she led a lot of the negotiations for ensuring that administrative workers in our health system were paid equally to other counterparts in the health system as well. Yeah. So for me, that was sort of the first political issue that I got introduced to. But also I think more recently I've discovered that my family were really reliant on politics. And I say that because we relied on the state. We relied on policies like working for families, the Healthy Lunches program in schools. I relied on interest-free student loans, but more so, and I've seen recently for myself, things like marriage equality and the homosexuality law reforms. Those have all been policies of successive Labour governments that have benefited me. So that's why I decided to get involved in the Labour Party when I was 14. I saw some of the incredible and progressive work that the Jacinda-led government was doing, and I wanted to re-elect that government, but more so ensure that young people were at the heart of a lot of the decisions we were making. And so today, I'm proud to stand with Labour because I think it is the party for young people. I think it is the party that has made some progressive change that has ensured that young people aren't left behind. But today, it is sad because we do have a government that I believe is really making life a lot harder for young people. And in order to ensure that we are looking after the next generation and future-proofing a lot of the movements that we have to ensure that the next generation is at the heart of a lot of the decisions that we make.
Right, okay, cool. I see the journey, I see the passion there. So, as a young person joining the political party, how you see so far the journey? How was it like when you start? Like, how did it start? Did you meet an MP, say, hey, I want to join the party, and how they treat you as a young at that time, and also been running as in age 18?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit on that kind of journey, the feeling, the things that's going around there.
Yeah, so the reason I joined Labour is because when I was 14, Jacinda had recently been elected as the Prime Minister, and she visited my school. So one of the reasons that I got quite political is because I saw some of the good things that the system could be doing, and that was seen through, again, my family being reliant on things like working for families, but also public housing at one point. But I equally saw how the system can push people away, and that was through what a lot of young people today would know as postcode lottery. So I originally lived here in Wellington, but because of the postcode lottery, I didn't have good opportunities for schools in my local community. So that drove my family to move down to the South Island, where I lived in a small rural community called whānau. And so in 2018, Jacinda came and visited our school to open our science block. And the key message that I walked away with is by being able to trust your instincts and sticking to your values. And that's the message that she shared with us.
Right.
And I thought that it was incredible and really unique to have such a young female Prime Minister. She was also pregnant at the time, which was really special to see, because I know that my mum had to work really hard and continue working full-time when she had me and my sisters. And to see something so relevant to me represented in politics made me inspired. And that's something that I wanted to protect and ensure that we all had a role in re-electing a government and a politics that represented us ordinary people. So that was probably the key reason that I joined Labour. In terms of why I decided to run, I was shaped a lot by the community and people that I was surrounded with. Living in a smaller community gave me that sense of community, and it was that community that asked me to run. And I think I was really lucky because they didn't see my age as being a barrier. I probably saw it as a barrier myself, and there was certainly a lot of people, a lot of naysayers that saw it as a barrier. But the one, I think, blessing that I had out of all of that is that I had an intergenerational community that saw value in an 18-year-old young adult in a rural community to be able to represent them and represent the Labour Party, and that was a real privilege to do. So cool. I'm really thankful for that.
Wow, what a journey. That's cool. And so they treat you well as a young person?
Yes, yeah,
You
absolutely.
sure?
Yes,
Okay.
very sure.
Okay, that's great. I think, because you've been selected to be a candidate. I think this is a great privilege and just an achievement, right? You've been there and putting your hands. So in that one, when you put yourself to the public, how did you see the reaction of public and the election and things?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a two-sided reaction. On one hand, I think the decision, it provoked a lot of people, and that's because it's not normal for 18-year-olds to stand in politics. But I think I had a decision to make where I could either let that get to me, or I could prove that actually it is good to ensure that we have representation from every generation in politics. And I'll admit, I wasn't the only young person to stand, and I was very glad to see that it's becoming more popular for young people to put their hand up, and so they should. I'm not here to represent every young people, but I can do my part in speaking to what a lot of young people have to say. So I was very lucky to be backed by the Labour Party, and there was a lot of support for me to do that, especially in some of the hard times. But some of my favourite parts from the 2023 campaign was being able to travel around the country and speak to young people that felt like there was a piece of them represented in a new era of politics that was coming through. And so I think we all have a role to ensure that we're supporting young people to be able to speak in different political environments and ensure that their communities are represented. Because at the end of the day, what benefits young people benefits all of us. It allows more fruitful ideas, it allows more opportunities for every generation to be respected and represented.
Right, it's beautiful. So Ethan, in your experience now, you've been engaged this year's with the Labour Party. What do you think the young generation are bringing with them? Is this same Labour Party, or is it new ideas? What you may know, you're involved. How you're seeing this experience? Like, do you feel that the new ideas are being put it forward, and how it's going for you?
One of the biggest arguments I had in the 2023 election was young people lacked life experience. I think that is a really outdated perception, and I think a lot of young people are proving that thought wrong. Experience needs to come in all shapes and forms, and that it isn't determined by how many years you've spent in the workforce. It's determined by the lived experiences that you bring to the role, and young people have a very valuable lived experience that deserves to be equally represented. I was looking at some of the stats a couple of weeks ago because I wanted to know how many young people can actually vote in Aotearoa, and I figured out that 1 in 5 voters are young people, which is huge, and something that we need to talk about more. It's the reality of that if all young people were to vote in next year's election, they would be able to decide the outcome of that election. So I share that because I want to emphasize the power of young people's voices, and that no movement and no political party can take ownership of young people, but instead they can provide them opportunities to shape the future that we all want to see and that we all want to inherit. I think that's a really beautiful thing. In terms of why me as a young person, why I chose Labour, it came down to the values. Politicians come and go all the time, but I know that I'm Labour because the values of the Labour Party have always been there. They have been there since our first Prime Minister, Michael Joseph Savage, and they will continue for leaders to come. And that is what makes me Labour, is because we believe in a future where no young person is determined by their, where the Labour Party believes in a future where no young person is defined by their postcode or by their parents' income. And that's a future that I want to ensure that the next generation continues to inherit.
Great. Love that. This is cool. Then you mentioned something also interesting, which is 1 in 5, right? There's the young voters, but we see a lot of them as not turning up for the voting. So, in your perspective, what is the question is why? The second, how we motivate them to get out and make their voice their voice, because this is one of the great rights we have, in such a country that you have a right to vote. There's many countries who don't have this right. So I don't know if they value the rights we have. So why they are not turning up, and how we motivate them in your experience?
I think, all the young people listening in today, they'll know someone that either doesn't vote, they've disengaged, or frankly, they've left the country.
Definitely.
We know every single day around 200 Kiwis leave the country. And I see it that New Zealand right now is in a crisis of hope. Young people aren't voting because they don't care. Of course they care. The decisions made around them every day are political decisions made by someone in power. They're not voting because they don't see a vision or a sense of hope for their future.
If I stop you here, let me challenge you a little bit. I mean, these questions come, right? They will tell you, like, Labour was in the government 6 years. What change happened for the young people that time? Just putting the question we were asking. How it will happen then?
I think, it is a lack of hope. And it's a lack of hope because it is hard for young people to really understand what their place is in this country.
That's right.
And if they're given something tangible where they feel like they're a part of, then they'll vote for that. So, right now we can all see there are a lot of young people that are unemployed. I think over 80,000 young people are unemployed at the moment. That's a choice. That's a choice for that to happen. And a lot of young people don't see a positive future for themselves in the country. I don't think that's just a youth issue. I think that's an issue every generation should care about in New Zealand. So if we want to ensure that young people are voting, because as you say, they are the least engaged generation in the country, we have to give them something tangible to feel a sense of hope in.
It's great. Love that. So in that one, Will you stand again this election? What's your plan?
Look, my plan is just ensuring that we re-elect a future-focused government. Obviously, it's no surprise that I'll be backing Labour, but we also live in an MMP, political system. So I just want to ensure that we have a future-focused government that looks after young people, and that's my main goal going into the next election.
Right. And I know recently the Labour Party announced the fund, which is Future Fund. So would you have some insight? There will be any fund especially for our young people? There will be some percentage there?
Yeah, so I think the way that the Future Fund was set up, and obviously I can only speak as a bystander, and what probably you've seen as well, is it's there to provide a vision for the future of the country that we want to inherit, and looking at our economy a little bit differently. Right now, New Zealand does rely on overseas investors to save the day for us. If we're in trouble, if we're in debt, we rely on offshore investments to build infrastructure, provide jobs, and invest in businesses. The Future Fund policy says, actually, we don't want to rely on that because we can't rely on that anymore. What we want to do is generate wealth here in New Zealand and invest a sum of money and then use the dividends off that money. So I guess the profits or the interest that's made off of that, and invest that money right back here into New Zealand with a goal of creating jobs, particularly for young people, investing in small businesses that have been started up by Kiwis and by New Zealanders. And I think by doing that, it incentivizes young people to get creative. If they want to start a business that they think could be really beneficial and productive for New Zealand and its economy, then that gives them the ability to do that. But I think right now, all young people can agree that there are a lack of jobs, and we need to have a really serious conversation about how we want to create those jobs. And I think that this is one example of how we can do that, but ensure that they're Kiwi-owned jobs.
Right. So I see. So you're talking, cool, there's lack of hope and things. So my question to you, how we make young people to restore the hope or motivate them just to vote or be involved? What's your perspective here?
I think my perspective is young people need to be trusted with the ideas they've got. And I guess my message to young people is back those ideas, back your confidence, back your creativity. If you've got an idea, go for it and find a way in your community and with your friends and family to make that a reality for you. And I say to the people that are in positions of power is back young people. There's a lot of outdated perceptions that we lack experience. That is proving that it's not the case anymore. A lot of young people are getting more involved in politics. They're getting more involved in business ideas. They're getting more involved in, I guess, the way that we shape the future of our communities. And that's a real blessing to have. But the only way that we're going to encourage them to continue to stay involved in our communities and in New Zealand society is by giving them the potential to continue to do that and giving them more opportunities. So I guess my message to those that feel like they're lacking hope is this is just one moment in time. Things will pass. Politicians come and go all the time, but for young people, we will be here the longest out of any other generation. So we need to ensure that we're giving it everything we can to shape the generation we want to see in the next 50 years. That's a responsibility and a privilege that we have, and we need to ensure that we're working with each other to make sure that happens.
Love that. This is great. Awesome, Ethan. Thank you. So we talked a lot on politics and stuff, but the other things, I know you are also involved in many other initiatives and things. So you do want to talk a little bit on that, what you're making in the community and why you'd love to do that stuff?
Yeah. Here's something else I'm involved with is I'm the chair of the Social Change Collective.
Yes.
So this is a charitable trust which was set up in 2017 off the back of a conference where a bunch of young Wellingtonians decided that they wanted to make something happen. We have a lot of conferences where we talk about the big picture and these big ideas that we want to do, but then nothing really comes out of those conferences. So they wanted to take some of the creativity, some of the ideas and the potential from that conference, and turn it into tangible outcomes. So really the Social Change Collective is here to educate, inspire and empower young people to make change on societal and environmental issues in their community. So we host events from the extent of looking at degrowth. So, how do we limit the population sizes in our biggest cities? But also things like women in sports, looking at issues like the future of our democracy here in New Zealand. And we host those events with experts in that topic and give the audience key actionable solutions that they can take back to their community. I think it's a way of really, in the way the reason I got involved is because we don't just have one clear sort of issue we want to focus on. We're concerned and we're passionate about various different issues that impact young people, but more often than not, young people feel powerless when it comes to these issues and they want something to do about it. So by bringing key experts and passionate, like-minded people together, we can find out what those actions and actionable solutions are, and we can all take them back to our daily lives. So that's just some of the work the Social Change Collective does, and we have a really cool team, and I'm really excited to be involved with them, and hopefully maybe we could work with you guys in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I've been attending some of them. I think I follow the mahi you guys do. It's great. I love. There's nice sessions. Sometimes it's great experts you bring. It's good to have a kōrero, have a conversation around those topics is very important. That's cool. So, Ethan, now this is for you as a person. What's your vision for Aotearoa? If I want to ask you that one.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said earlier, where I have a very similar vision to the Labour Party, or what I deem as the vision is where every young person can unlock their potential, and they're not defined by their postcode, where they live, or by their income or their parents' income. That is, I guess, the purpose of why I'm passionate about the things that I'm passionate, because I have seen firsthand whether, maybe not myself, but other young people have been really limited by where they live and how much money they have. And I don't think any Kiwi should be limited by that. I don't think any person in the world should be limited by that. Yeah. So no matter what I do, I'm just really passionate about ensuring that young people have opportunities and that they're not limited by their environment.
Cool. I see your passion a lot with the Labour, even vision. So if you have become one day a minister, what portfolio you will take?
I don't know, whatever the leader wants me to do. I think it's pretty clear. I'm very passionate about young people, and climate change as well is a pretty big issue for me.
So everyone's watching, remember his name. He will be there. Wish you the best, Ethan. We're coming to the end of the time. I'm loving this kōrero with you. I think what is great is he's seeing such a young person and getting involved. I think whoever's there, also what political party you choose, depending on your value and things you want, it's okay. It's just about get there, get involved, be active. Let's activate our civil society, democracy. That's the beauty of, having different opinion and things. Because I think everyone is trying their best from different angle. They contribute to the country and give back in a way they see fit, which is the party that they see represented. And
disagreement is a good thing.
Exactly.
And that is the one thing I found is, by disagreeing, you can take a moment to pause and understand other viewpoints that may not necessarily agree with yours, but they're just as valuable.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the beauty of this land and this country, I think. So that's what I love when I came here and getting to understand the politics and stuff here. There's a lot of things there, but I think if we keep like this space of talking, disagreeing, etc., and then let the people decide. Great.
Absolutely.
So I have one question, then we jump into some other tradition we do, which is the other question before we go that. What will be your message to the people listening or watching this podcast, or even to our young people who's watching right now? If any message you want to share about anything, what will be that message?
Yeah, I guess that we are just in one moment in time, Things will pass, things will get easier.
Mm.
And what I sort of shared a little bit before was figure out your why. If you're really passionate about something and you want to make a difference somewhere, figure out exactly what your why is so that you can stay grounded in that for the rest of your life. No matter what you're doing, if you're working, volunteering, playing a role in your family, in your community, sticking to that why will keep you grounded and on the right path for you. And just trust your instinct. Trust your instinct and the values that you carry, because that'll set you up really well.
Love that. Great. Great message. Thank you for that. So, Ethan, we have this,
Yes.
our guest messages, which is, if you've been watching our podcast, you may know the traditions. I will ask you a question, then you will also have a chance to put a question for the next guest, whoever's come. Let's see what question have been left for you. Okay, I think it's kind of related to what I just asked you, but it's very specific, this one. If you had one message for the children in New Zealand today, what would it be?
It's a good question. It's a tough question.
Right. For the children.
For the children. I think I would say, everything will be okay. And again, going back to my original message, this is really just one moment in time. We've been here before in history, believe it or not, and we'll likely come to this point again. But I guess just have hope. Have hope that everything will be okay, and stick to your why you're here.
Love that. Thank you so much, Ethan. It's been a pleasure to kōrero with you. I look forward that we can definitely see you in different events and work together in different capacities as well. Thank you for your time, for sharing this career with us. You keep going. You're inspiring.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Whānau, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and comments, like and share. And as he said, Ethan, the message, the hope is there. Get involved. Trust your instincts. Just do it. Thank you.